Greetings and welcome to another reflection of the inner man. First and foremost, just want to give a shout out to my subscribers. Thanks for listening in. Thanks for tuning in. I truly appreciate the love and support. In this particular session, I want to discuss the ongoing battle between tribalism and globalism, and how this particular battle is changing the landscape for masculinity in some countries and throughout the world. Many years ago, many decades ago, before technology was just a thought in someone's mind, people lived off the land, and people live amongst their resources. And for those who had communities amongst themselves, they dealt with like-minded people. And so during these times, these communities had certain rules, certain boundaries, and certain etiquettes that they have towards one another. And for a lot of these communities, they banded together because of commonalities, and because of religion. It's because of culture, and in some cases, it's because of the phenotype of their appearance. And for these individuals, that was all they knew, and that was all they know. And so, for a lot of people, before technology existed, they live amongst themselves and develop their own tribes. And for a lot of them, they were very content with living that type of lifestyle. And in most cases, it was very rare if tribes venture outside of the boundaries. It was very rare if tribes travel long distances, whether on foot, on horseback, or in some cases, horse and buggy. But those methods of traveling, at least within land, would take days, weeks, and sometimes months before they reach the next community or the next tribe. And of course, if you live anywhere near a body of water or near the sea, when traveling to other places, it definitely took months before you saw another side of land, let alone another side of people. And so, like I said, during these times, a lot of people just stuck to themselves and people who thought just like them. And for them, they gotten so comfortable within their little bubble that any newcomer who didn't have the same mindset as they did, who had the same cultural standing or social standing as they did, or if they just looked different, if their phenotype was just not what they were deemed outsiders. They were deemed troublemakers. And in some cases, they would make sure that those individuals did not feel welcome within their tribe or community. And again, this is well before technology existed. It will be years before the telephone would work. It will be years before radio came into existence. And it will be many more years until the likes of television, the cell phone, and even social media would come into fruition. But slowly but surely, as those technologies start to come into existence, the entire landscape started to change. When horse and buggy was replaced with motorized vehicles like cars and trains and even airplanes, all of a sudden, countries and land that was once hard to reach are now within reach. And as soon as the computer started to come arise and the likes of social media, all of a sudden, places that would take months or even years to get in contact with somebody on the other side of the globe are now suddenly within reach, within a push of a button. This is how globalism came into play. Thanks to technology, people from all over the world can learn about other cultures and other languages, can learn about other regions and geographies, and establish diplomacy and many other social and business standings with many people that don't look like them, that may not come from the same cultural background, but they may share the same beliefs, the same goals, and are willing to work with others to make those changes happen. And so today, I notice with a lot of men, they're stuck between tribalism and globalism. You have some individuals who truly believe that you should stick to your own kind, who truly believe that there should not be any sort of mingling between one tribe or former tribe and another. In any case, they just believe that they should just stick to the old days and stick to people living amongst themselves and not being in touch with anyone and everyone across the world. And for those individuals, there's nothing wrong with believing that sort of mindset. But I, for one, I simply cannot undo what I've learned about other cultures and what I aspire to become a part of other cultures, thanks in part to technology. You see, another thing I realized for a lot of men, the benefits with tribalism is that you're able to deal with females or women who come from the same background as you. And so in tribalism, it just means that you don't have to work too hard to get the sort of kind of females that come from your background, because she's familiar with your culture, you're familiar with her culture. And so in your mind, you should be able to just get together and create your own families amongst that culture. But thanks to technology, people can reach out to others all across the globe. People who share the same beliefs as they do. People who believe in the same type of culture as they do. And so for a lot of men who believe in tribalism, they're now getting left behind. Because now, not only do they have to compete with men amongst their own tribe, but they now have to compete with the men across the entire globe. And for a lot of men, that scares them. That scares them that they're now held to a global standard that for some they feel like they can never obtain. But the thing is this: the only individual that can restrict you from being able to compete and thrive in a globalist environment is yourself. And so for a lot of men who believe in tribalism, who believe you should stick to your own kind, the only thing I can tell you is, yes, it can work. And we have evidence of a particular group of people who continue to practice tribalism to this very day. And that's the Amish. The Amish do not believe in technology. They rather stick to the old times of horse and buggy, the old times of working the land and tending to resources, and only dealing with people who want to be Amish. But even the Amish have a little bit of modernism in them as well. When their children become of age, they give their children an opportunity to venture out into the world, just for a little bit. And then they give those same teenagers and young adults an ultimatum. If you're going to become an Amish, you have to forego everything you have experienced in the outside world. No technology, no social media, no cars, no traveling much. You have to stick within the Amish community. But now, if you forego your birthright and you do not want to be Amish, that's perfectly fine. You're a grown adult and you have every right to decide for yourself what you want to be in life and what you want to do. The only thing is, you will be denounced from the Amish community, and we will have no partaking in all the matters that you do. You will be disowned, and we will not recognize you. So for the Amish, that's their model of tribalism. And obviously it works because they're still in existence to this day. But you have some individuals who want to have the best of both worlds, have some sort of tribalism, but still be able to utilize technology and still be able to socialize across the world with many people. Unfortunately, the world does not function that way. You're either full on globalism or you practice tribalism. There is no in between. And so for that matter, I challenge any brother out there who feels like he now needs to compete on the global world and feels like he stands no chance of becoming who he wants to become in this global environment. I challenge you. Go out there and have experiences for your own. You may need to travel to another city, travel to another state, heck, even travel to another country. But go out there and make things happen for yourself. Only you can create those type of experiences for yourself. And understand that the women of today, despite many of them coming from different cultural backgrounds and different beliefs, you as a male, it is your biological imperative to compete. It is your biological imperative to go out there and make your genetics worth what it is. And if you do not want to compete, well, your bloodline, your genetics, your legacy, it ends with you. And you can't blame anybody else but yourself. For one, I enjoy living in a globalist world. I enjoy, being able to travel to other places and meet many different people and establish many different relationships there. Even right now, despite the fact that the pandemic has limited people's ability to travel, it will soon pass, and the world will continue as it normally did, reaching out to all corners of the world. And those who enjoy living in that atmosphere, I applaud them, because they understand that this is their golden opportunity to leave a legacy for themselves and for those who are connected to them. Those who still want to live in tribalism, nobody's forcing you to do something different. But just understand, just because you want to live in a tribalistic mindset does not mean that everybody else around you have that same mindset, including your women. Likewise, there are some people who don't believe in globalism. There are some women who would rather stick to their own kind. That's true too. But we can no longer put the genie back in the bottle. Thanks to technology, globalism is here to stay. We are never going back to the days of traveling on foot, traveling on horseback, or even traveling on horse and buggy. In this day and age, thanks to technology, anybody from all over the globe can reach anybody else within a push of a button. So before I leave, I will end this session with a quote from the late great Kobe Bryant. And he was quoted as saying this: "I have nothing in common with lazy people who blame others for their lack of success. Great things come from hard work and perseverance. No excuses." So with that said, I'm Sigma Jones. Thanks for tuning in. Join me next time on the Reflections of the Inner Man.